Hello everyone, this video is to show you how to stitch this peyote diamond. Now you'll need a few colours or just one colour if you prefer. You'll also need a folded piece of card. I'll explain why later on. And we're going to start off just by picking up 4 beads. And I'm using different colours for each row so that you can see where we're at. I'm also using a file line join. This is a circular one. Never put the thread inside the flame, always just outside of the flame. We're going to pick up 2, and I'm working in a different colour now. So this is an increase. Sometimes referred to as a herringbone increase. And then we're going to pick up 1. And then we're going to pick up 2. And then we're going to pick up 1. And we're going to step up through these 2 beads. Now we're going to pick up 2 or increase 2. And we're going to peyote 2 down this side. Remember that orange bead that I just passed through is actually a corner. Increase 2. Peyote 2. And step up. So the next row is increase 2. Peyote 1. Increase 2. Peyote 1. So that's along 2 sides. Then increase 2. Just going to repeat what we did before. cut 2 and peyote 1. And step up. Increase 2. Peyote 2. Now we're just going to pick up 1 bead, stitch it between these 2 beads, and it should just click into place. And then peyote 2. So we're just going to repeat that again. So we're just going to do 1 more row, and then I'm going to show you why I have that piece of card. This shape does stay flat, will stay flat, but it also does have a tendency to be soft. If you get your tension right for it to be flat, it can be a bit soft. So you might consider using a stiffening product if you were using this for earrings. This shape, you know, if you made 2 diamonds, something like that. And I'm going to show you why quite often when people are working a flat shape, they'll bead a few rows, particularly with this shape, and also the peyote hexagon does it a lot. Why it suddenly starts to take on a curve that you don't want, and that is to do with every row that you finish, you will find that there's a tiny space between beads, and that if your tension is firm, that tiny space disappears. You can just about see it, but just see between these blue beads and the green bead in the center, you can see the white thread. Now, if your tension's too tight, you will wind up with a curve on the next row, and I'm going to do that deliberately and show you how that works. Then I'm going to undo it and do it again using the folded card method, which is my preferred way of keeping pieces flat. So to start off with, obviously we're increasing 2 again. Then we're going to peyote 3. No, just the 1 bead, please. And then this is where it goes wrong generally. So you pick up 2, and you want those beads to sit nice and tightly. So you pull in tight, still got a bit of a gap, not quite enough to put the next one in. That's how they should be sitting. So what generally is happening is the curve on your thumb is the way you would hold it like this. And you think, well, that's okay. And then you'll bead the next 3 peyote, which will lock that tension in place like this. And then surprise, we've got a curve. And that curve is only going to get worse. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to release the tension a bit. Folded card. And I'm going to put the piece just inside the card so that I can just pull the tension right. And then I will turn the piece, holding it between the 2 pieces of card. And then I will continue to do the remainder of the row. The folded card works very well with a small component. If you've got a larger component, then I do suggest that you have a book or a block of wood or a firm piece of table that you can access so that you can flatten the piece on every row as you work. And this will help you to keep the tension to the correct amount so that it doesn't curve upwards or the other way. I'm a very tight beader myself and I know how easily it happens. So I just thought it would be nice to show you how you can help yourself with that. So now if we look at the piece, it is absolutely flat. And I'm going to keep on holding it between the card. And then when we get to this side corner, then you can see there's the right amount of space for that bead to pop in nicely. So you can see here the rows as I've completed them, and that it is beautifully flat. Now if I was to bend it, it would bend. And I also realized that I hadn't shown you, this was meant to be the last row that I did, but I realized I hadn't shown you how to finish, or where to finish your diamond off properly. So I'm going to work another couple of rows as I have here, and you can see that we've got the increase in all four corners, and I've been holding it in between the card. Now if we've got the increase in all four corners, to finish it off we need just one bead between these increase beads. Now I find that a delicate bead does work for a thin 4 or 5 millimeter jump ring, but you could take the opportunity to put in an 8 millimeter bead here, and then we just peyote down this side again. And peyote one on this side corner in between the two beads. Peyote down this side. And stitch one between the increase beads here. And I'll just get to the end of these two sides so that you can see it completed, and I will also quickly show you how I finish off. So when I get to this last bead here, that's all my beads in place. Then I'm going to pass through the top bead, and then I'm going to come down the red bead, through the bead to the side, and this is basically just a square stitch between these two beads, which will lock the thread in place. And then I'm just going to pass through a couple of beads I'll just show you, keep your needle in line with the, the line between the two beads, or the gap between the next two beads. And that way you shouldn't crack any beads. Just do that again. Needle in line. Where's my scissors? So there we are, one finished diamond, nice and flat and ready to be joined into your project, whatever that might be. If you are using it for earrings, this is what I use as a stiffener. It's never discolored on me and it works very well. You just paint it over both sides, wait for it to dry, put your jump ring in, and away you go. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.